Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Midnight Festival podcast, a late-night talk show focused around the discussion and analysis of video games and related media. I am Jade, the first of two currently active hosts.
And I'm Cole, your second of the two currently active hosts.
You might notice that we're missing Kiowa, the fan favorite host. There are some reasons for that, but it's not what you might be thinking. He's not dead, he's not passed.
He's still kicking.
But unfortunately, due to some unforeseen circumstances, we decided to delay the Crosscode episode for a little bit. In the meantime, though, we're doing sort of a spur-of-the-moment filler episode with just us two. And since Kiowa hasn't had the time to play this huge game yet, he's left in the dust. He's still playing Crosscode.
Very unfortunate.
But tonight, for our filler episode, we'll be discussing Genshin Impact, which was published by MiHoYo on September 28th, I believe, the global release.
Mm-hmm.
MiHoYo is a known Chinese mobile game developer. They made Honkai Impact 3rd, which has been doing pretty successfully too. I played that a little bit, but this game has really swept a lot of people up.
Yeah, it's been an addiction. It's anime Breath of the Wild.
It's Breath of the waifus, as I've heard it been called.
Anyone who hasn't actually been around the block and heard about the game so far and doesn't know, it's like Breath of the Wild. Everyone's played that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows it. Everyone at least knows it. You have to know it.
Open world, exploration, light combat, and then this is a gacha. This is a mobile gacha game.
It's a mobile gacha game, yeah, which is pretty interesting combination between the two.
Yeah, because you're pulling for different characters. In this one, you're pulling for different characters and weapons to use instead of just being one guy with. I mean, that's one of my big things for this is probably just how it compares to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've seen a lot of defense of the game because there's a lot of people saying, oh, this is just a Breath of the Wild clone.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And, in a lot of ways, of course it is, for sure. But there's a lot of things that this game does, better than Breath of the Wild, I'd say. And there's some things it does worse, of course. But I think the biggest thing I could say regarding Genshin Impact compared to Breath of the Wild, I think that Genshin Impact can stand. Okay, first of all, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me contain
yeah, let's
my
back
thoughts
it up here.
Let's back it up. I was going full speed ahead. First of all, what's wrong with Breath of the Wild clones?
Yeah, that's probably the first thing that comes to mind when someone negatively compares it or says it's a clone. Like, okay, don't you want more Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, like people are so stoked for Breath of the Wild 2. Here it is. Here's Breath of the Wild.
They just don't like anime.
Yeah, I guess. It's just like, ever since I played Breath of the Wild, there's not a lot of games that have captured that same feeling of exploration that Breath of the Wild did.
Yeah, there's a sense of wonder for sure. That's very unique to these games, I think.
Yeah, like I've never felt that. Back in the day, playing like Fallout 3 or whatever was like, whoa, or like Skyrim, sure. But, those games have those big open worlds where you're running around. And that's cool and all, but this type of game is always like you look to your left and you're like, I gotta go over there. Whoa! Mm-hmm. Then you look to your right and there's something else, and everything is so organic. Whereas other games just seem like, oh, a town. There's a town. You go to that town and it's just nothing else in between. But these games just fill every nook and cranny with something. Yeah,
there's a lot of directed exploration in those other you're almost. In Megaton, kind of draws your eye line, and it's one of the only places you can go in like a Fallout. But in this game, you can climb anything, you can glide around, and they do cram it full of stuff, so everybody's just going to be heading off in this spider web of just different directions, different paths, discovering different things. That's very unique to something like this.
Yeah. So you know what? All those people knocking this for being a Breath of the Wild knockoff or a clone, fuck you. Because this game, like these types of games, there needs to be more. There needs to be more of these sort of style of game.
Mimicry is the sincerest form of flattery I've heard once or twice.
Very true. And, you know, there's all those, Souls-like games where the dying and collecting your souls and stuff is sort of a gameplay mechanic. I wonder, you know, what kind of things that future games in this ilk can do to separate one another. Like, this game seems interesting because combat-wise, because you're building teams, and there's a lot more RPG elements than Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a lot more control in the way that you handle combat specifically.
Yeah, I'd say the exploration is mostly similar. And we can get into that later, but definitely the combat in this feels much more fleshed out, much more impactful on the game than in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, big time. Like, the movement in this game is so fast. Like, dodging feels so good.
Yeah, you don't have a dodge in Breath of the Wild, I think, right?
I think you have that sidestep, but it feels kind of clunky.
Oh yeah, you can like backflip and stuff. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can backflip and sidestep and stuff in Breath of the Wild, but this one is like you have I don't know. Do you have iframes in Breath of the Wild though?
I
think you do.
There's like the flurry rush where you dodge at the right-ish time. Very, very weird. It's not iframes per se, but I think it makes you... It's super gimmicky, doesn't feel right in that game. But Genshin Impact's dash iframes feel very action game appropriate. It feels right.
Yeah, there's times when the combat in this game, I am like... You know, I'd been following this game for a while. Like, I'd been really stoked for it for a long time. And I really didn't have too high of hopes for the combat aspect of the game. But I thought that, it was actually way better than I thought it was going to be. I had a lot more fun. Like, there's times in those domains and stuff where you're, like, slicing, dicing, dashing, Kuching. I have Kuching using her E to, like, flash step into guys. It just feels so action-packed and, like, it's just really fun. It's really fun and fluid. And the elemental combos, building your whole teams, it's really fun.
Yeah, there's a lot more diversity here. In Breath of the Wild, I think you just have the one normal, like, one combo string on the different weapons, because there's a couple different weapon types, like one-handers, two-handers for swords, and spears.
Yep.
That might even be
and
it.
Bows.
And
There's
bows
too.
is like a sidearm almost, because you always have a bow and you have a shield. You don't have that in this game. Instead, you just have access to characters, and then they have their own unique weapon combo string that can't be changed. But you have 4 of them at any time. So, like, right there, whatever your default 4 characters are, you've got more combat options than Breath of the Wild has pretty much in the whole game, if you don't count the little bombs and apps and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. You could use all that stuff. Maybe you could be a little more creative in ways to tackle encounters in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, because they have the whole physics system.
Yeah, but this definitely feels a lot better and more tuned for for multiplayer-ish. Like, I feel like I'm really hoping there's some more cool bosses with mechanics and stuff, because it seems like this game is almost built more for that.
Mm-hmm. It's got the foundation. To me, I think.
I hope they come through. Hope they pull through.
The combat feels more focused. Maybe less creative, because the environment, like in Breath of the Wild, you could shoot or light grass on fire and it would create an updraft, and you could mess with metal objects and stuff, and you don't really have that in this game. Unless a character specifically, like one character in Genshin can make an updraft, but otherwise you can't do that on your own.
Yeah, I mean, there's some cool environmental things, like, since we have the Lightning Girl, Kuching, we always want to try and get them wet somehow, so if you're fighting in rain or near a puddle of water or a lake or something, you want to get the enemies wet.
Yeah.
And, certain characters do set things on fire, and that lights guys up and whatnot. There's some light elements of that, but nowhere near the diversity that Breath of the Wild has.
Yeah, and I prefer it this way, with the stronger RPG focus and,
the action game, combat a lot faster and fluid. I prefer that too.
The action, yeah. and big ups for no weapon durability in this game.
Yeah, big ups.
I hate that in Breath of the Wild a lot. I really didn't think it added anything to that game, but we just don't have to worry about it at all in Genshin, and I like that. You just have to worry about resources. Yeah. I don't want to get ahead of myself talking about that.
Yeah, that's gonna be we'll be talking about that.
I have criticisms of the combat system though.
Oh yeah, let's hear those.
You said, what did you say just a moment ago, that you didn't have high hopes. You didn't have high hopes because I don't think we looked into the game too much right before it came out, trying to go in kind of blind. Well, I was.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at. I wasn't watching a lot of closed beta test footage or anything like that. I watched maybe a couple clips of like hype shit, but nothing that was like in depth. This is what all these battles are like, or anything like that.
To that, I guess I didn't know what I was getting into, so I didn't really have any expectations, but I was still somewhat disappointed in certain things. You can, you bring the 4 characters into combat, and unfortunately they all just have one combo, like one basic combo, just like Breath of the Wild. It's different weapon types, but this is attached to the character, and that's a little disappointing because you have a strong attack, but it's just a charged, like you just hold the attack button and you do your one rinse and repeat charge attack. There's no branching moves like you would get in maybe a more nuanced action game like Devil May Cry or something. I mean, that's apples to oranges, but it's just like I'd like to do a bit more than my standard 4-hit on a character, or do something a little different.
Yeah, that is very true. Like maybe do some aerial launching or something like that.
Yeah, try and juggle the lighter guys.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because you think that they could maybe I don't know, maybe you could link because the charged attack ends your combo basically.
Yes,
right.
It resets it.
So
it stops it right.
You take
there.
1 or 2 hits, do your charge attack, or you take 4 hits, do your charge attack. Yeah, I mean that's really the only diversity with your basic hit combo. But another cool thing about Genshin, your 4 guys swapping real fast.
Yeah.
I think it's made for that. Like you're supposed to only hit a couple times as one character, swap to the next one, activate your abilities, swap to the next one to have some cool resonant combos with your elemental arts or whatever. But I mean, I don't do that because my strongest girl is so fucking strong and everyone else isn't as strong as she is. So if I want to kill things faster, then I'll be hitting as Ku-Ching only.
Yeah.
And everyone else will be like, here's my element stuff, and then go away for the rest of the battle.
I feel that since I'm running Ku-Ching as well, mostly similar comps. It's obviously, you're supposed to take advantage of your 4 characters. I'm doing that to the extent that I think is expected.
Like you and I are both using Xiangling as our fire now.
Yeah, set them on fire and then light them up with the electricity from
and
Ku-Ching.
That's it though. So when we switch over to Xiangling, we're not using her spear combo, which is cool, and which would be a little more of a break from the repetitive 5-hit combo or whatever that Ku-Ching has.
Yeah.
But we just use her to throw a little Goba down, use her to pop her ult, get some fiery spears, and then swap over to Ku-Ching again to kill so fast.
Yeah, and that kind of feels intended. It maybe if there are more characters who... Xiangling has an ability that you can unlock that allows her to apply, a debuff or it's a delayed explosion that puts fire on them. But you have to finish her entire combo string. You have to do all 5 hits, which takes a while.
Because she does that poke thing, right?
Yeah, she does
like a bunch of pokes.
She does a bunch of pokes, and then she does an upward hit, and then that would, if you have this unlocked, will then apply like in 2 seconds. They will explode for a little damage, and it puts fire on them, which sets up for more elemental reactions. But it takes a long time to get there, and definitely doesn't feel worth it. And that's probably not, like for Ku-Ching, I guess sometimes it feels worth it, but either way, going through an entire combo on one character never feels right because, you've seen it a million times.
Yeah. It would be nice to have a little more diversity, but hopefully, that's, it's all dependent on the gacha rates. If we're going to get more characters or not to, expand our horizons past Kuching's power.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate how important or impactful the gacha feels in this game compared to other games.
Yeah, big time. Should we get into that, or just should we save that? Do you have more stuff, Breath of the Wild things?
Yeah, there's a lot more comparisons you could make to Breath of the Wild.
Let's pull more Breath of the Wild. Because gacha, I feel like
that's like a whole thing in and of itself.
Core. Yeah,
I think that ties into. We'll probably have to preface it many times because it's just so integral. But yeah,
we'll have to. We'll probably be like, should we? Let's not get into that yet. But yeah, that's going to be a big, huge. Yeah. Okay. So more Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, one thing that we brought up even in the Bloodstained episode, because Breath of the Wild is just such a universal game, is healing. When you can open up your inventory and stuff your face full of sponge cake or whatever, and Genshin actually does something to fix that.
Yeah, you got a fullness thing.
You got a fullness meter. You can't chomp down too much food. Like if you're in single player, you can still pause the game, go into your massive inventory and eat.
Yep. But that's what's cool about multiplayer boss encounters, because you have to hurry up and
it's
eat
real
food.
Time in your inventory.
Yeah, it's good.
And I think that
it even punishes you more.
It prioritizes cooking good food too, using your limited resources to make more filling, more substantial meals for less of your hunger meter or whatever it is. To heal more at once than stuffing, because you can still eat 100 apples, but then you get full and it doesn't heal that much.
Yeah,
and then
good
you
for
get
topping off.
Good buffs. There's none of that broken. Breath of the Wild specifically just had that stupid system where some specific ingredients would give you a full heal if you cooked with them, and then extra health on top of that. You remember that?
Yep.
I don't know.
The durian fruits. I remember if you just cook a bunch of those fruits together, it makes a fruit salad. That gives you 10 over shield hearts or whatever they're called.
Yeah, and you'd only have to put one. It's like a durian trait is whatever it was. You only needed one, and you would get a full heal regardless. And that was and you could health gate in that game too, which means you couldn't die in one hit if you were at full health. So if you had one of those and you got hit by anything in the game that would one shot you, it wouldn't, and you'd have time to eat, unless
eat another one.
Unless a glitch happened and you got hit twice in one frame or something.
Yeah,
but that's a really specific Breath of the Wild problem. But I'm glad that there's more than one measure in this game to stop you from cheesing the game with heals.
Yeah, that's very good too.
That's something that broke that breaks Breath of the Wild. It was a strategy in Bloodstained. I don't know why that. It's been in my mind with every game that I've been playing now is, how do they curb healing in games? How do they prevent you from just cheating? Because I think we mentioned Fallout earlier, those Bethesda games. I think you can just slam back some stim packs or something in your inventory in those games too.
No, you just have a bunch of cheese. You have a bunch of cheese wheels in your inventory in Skyrim and just eat them. Eat them all.
That's a weird issue, and I guess this is the only multiplayer game, so it makes more sense that they would put in some effort to fix it, but it's still strange that it's so prevalent.
It is weird, because it eliminates a lot of the challenge.
Yeah, it's optional, but you have it. You have it in front of you, you're going to probably take advantage of it, right? It just feels like a mechanic.
I've done that a couple times myself in this game. I guess if it's I'm not getting I was eating my allowed amount or whatnot. I reached max fullness while I was fighting some bosses and whatnot, but I didn't feel like I was cheating or cheesing the game or anything. I guess it kind of did feel. It still feels kind of bad to pause all time and just be like, oh, I'm almost dead. Eat a bunch of big chicken meals or whatever. But
yeah.
But that's how it was designed, so I don't feel too bad about it, I guess.
Yeah, I I think I've been in the same situation, very tough dungeon or boss or something, and I'm hopping in my inventory, pausing the game, feeding some chickens to people to keep them up, reviving people in the inventory,
feeding them eggs.
Yeah,
egg toast or whatever.
and that was probably the only way I was able to clear it at that given time. And yeah, it didn't feel quite as good as some of the other challenges.
Yeah, it still doesn't feel good, but it doesn't feel like you're cheesing either, since it's within their
they set limits
design.
And we're staying within them. So I respect it a lot more than I do Breath of the Wild, Bloodstained, Fallout, all those with all the healing. I like this. Yeah,
it's good. And since the combat is so reaction based, we were talking about this a little bit, but it seems like it's a lot of it is kind of skill based. Like you could challenge things that you're way under leveled for and still come out on top. It'll just take you a long time to do it.
Yeah, because you got the RPG numbers working against you in some cases, but you can avoid a lot of instances of damage with skill.
Mm-hmm. And that's super, super cool. I like that. But yeah, we were also talking about, like, how do you dodge some of these things? Are some of these things meant to keep, like, like the Ruin, not the Ruin Guard.
The Ruin Hunter. The flying one.
Yeah. How do you dodge some of it? I can't dodge some of his sword attacks. Maybe I just can't read them. I don't fight those guys too much, but it's just like, I wonder if there are certain things that are meant to, like, to gate you, that you can't dodge,
Yeah, those Ruin Hunters, if you're that's something that I think you need to preemptively be out of the way for, or you are just hit by it. And then the Ruin Guards shoot those missiles at you that if you're at a distance, it's easy, but it seems like if you're up in melee range, which is most characters, you can't even iframe. I know you have iframes on your dash, and you get 3 dashes before you have to stop for a moment.
But there are 6 missiles.
Yeah, there are. I think you can only dodge one of them or something, but you get hit. I've never at a close range when because they heat seek hard. They'll turn 180 degrees on a dime. I don't know. It's weird. And then you have the fight with the electric cube. It has an attack where it shoots these lasers out in a circle, right? And it also has one where it does a little bullet hell on the ground where it shoots all these waves. And you can just run in a circle to keep up with them. But if you are in a bad position, they might catch up with you. And you can use your dash and just run right through it and take no damage with your iframes. So there's instances where it feels like that's intended, and other times where you're punished. And that as I've heard described, feels more MMO-like, where you just have to take damage. And most of the time, if that scenario occurs, it feels like the only thing you could have done was just not be there earlier. Like you should have been already running away, but how do you know?
Monster Hunter-esque. You have to look at each encounter kind of like action and reaction rather than DPS check.
A little bit. I think in Monster Hunter, all of the telegraphs are much better. There's really...
Yeah,
there's no instances where you're going to get caught, from a standstill where you couldn't have reacted. But in this, if you're already in the middle of a melee on a Ruin Guard and you're up in melee range, can you run away fast enough to get away and then dodge these? I'm not sure.
Not to mention stamina as well.
You got it, because charge attacks use stamina.
Attacks. Yeah.
It's something that needs more testing. I think it should be noted. The game's only been out a week and a half.
Yeah.
And we've been playing it religiously, but
lots of time.
There's a lot more to go through, and more experiences to be had. I haven't done too much of the difficult combat challenges in the Abyss. So it's mostly just been world combat, and I don't have too much experience. I haven't gotten to test this stuff as much as I would like. It's suffice to say.
Well, this is more sort of a general impressions sort of almost like a little review and analysis a little bit of the current state of the game. I mean, this is 1.0. Supposedly 1.1 might be coming out on October 12th. People are saying it might allegedly come out October 12th. So if that's the case, this episode will be coming out after that. So there will be, perhaps there will be new content that fix some of these problems, but we don't know. And we're just chatting. We're just speculating, talking. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm curious where the game will be in a week, in a month, in a year, compared to how it is right now at the very start, where it definitely feels, obviously it feels like a game that just launched. And when you play as much as we have in any of those games, there's not too much to see just yet. Well, there's a lot to see, but
there's a lot to see.
If you rush to the very end, then it's not surprising when there isn't as much else to see past that.
Definitely. I think that's perfectly fair. I mean, let's put this into perspective here. We basically no-lifed this game. That's a good perspective.
That says everything you need to know.
Essentially playing pretty much all the main story quests. I'm AR adventure rank 34.
Yeah, and I think I'm 33.
You unlock the last current main story quest at 30, I believe.
And then there's the additional ones, or are those like side stories?
Those are those side stories that you unlock at 32, 34, and 36, I believe.
Okay, so it's like the Archon, the main narrative plot quests.
Yep. And so once you're done with that, after 30, there's no more main story content, and I think that's perfectly fine because they're still planning on adding a lot of updates, and hopefully there will be more endgame-ish stuff. I mean, even if we're in the endgame currently, it feels like the mid-game, for like it still feels like I'm strengthening my characters because I know that there's more levels and I know that there's more stuff to do.
Yeah, it's the end game of the launch because it's 2 out of 7 zones, so there's obviously a lot more to come, but currently at current state of the game, end game.
Yes,
as far as anyone knows too, because as much as people played the beta, this is all or even more than what they had access to.
Yeah, I don't think there were any Liyue quests at that point.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
But I think they had Liyue. I don't know. I don't know for a fact. I know they could have explored Liyue, but I don't know how much quest line there was. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting looking at it being so far ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, there are Twitch streamers who are like, "What's up? I'm AR 40, AR 39," but having not spent money on resin refreshes and stuff, I think we made pretty good progress, and it's kind of cool to be sitting where we are and have a look at what the end game has to offer, what the current end game has to offer before any sort of changes come out, if any changes come out at all.
Yeah, we're the vanguard, the front line, playing. I'm sure it's got some MMO qualities to it that feel kind of familiar to me, where someday all of this that we're grinding so hard on, looking for scraps of chests and whatnot to get experience to level up more. In the future, I'm sure there will be, like, this won't even be a thing. People will just progress right through this and beyond it, or there will be catch-up mechanics that just shoot your adventure rank up so high. We're really in the testing grounds.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting. Like, it's cool. I think there's more stuff to talk about regarding the combat and character building, but I think we gotta talk more about sort of the foundationals about building characters, which would eventually lead into gacha rates, I imagine.
So you want to talk like team building?
Yeah, because team building is, I think, the biggest allure.
It's kind of the core.
For me personally, I think that's what is drawing me the most into the game, is having built, like, there's a lot of freedom, like there's a lot of freedom on how you can build your characters. And since the game is so new, there's no, I mean, I haven't sought out the meta or anything like that, but I don't know of a meta. And I think like I'm building my official with like, super high elemental mastery and regeneration. So she is always in like casting her bird as often as possible. And it's just fun to build these team members in ways that you want. Mm-hmm. I think that's the coolest. That's what I like the most about the game, even more than the exploration, more than the combat, more than the cuties even. I think having a team of cuties is kind of the goal, right?
Yeah. That's what you pull for.
Yeah.
It's like a Venn diagram of the combat, the exploration, the gacha, and then in the middle, you got your characters that are tying it all together, the ones that you are building your team out with, because they affect all aspects of how you're playing.
Yeah. So, this game is Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Waifus, with a sort of an in-game currency system to pull from these banners to have a chance of getting characters. And these gems you can get for free in the game. Mm-hmm. But from where we are, it's looking a little sparse. Yeah. At the end game, it doesn't look like there's a lot more chances to get big boosts to gems or anything. So there is ways to buy pulls to hopefully get the character that you want. If you don't know what gacha is, I mean, you have to know what gacha is at this point, right? It's news, right? I mean,
yeah, it's nothing new if you don't know it by name.
I mean, gacha is the Japanese term for it, but loot crates or loot boxes, I think, is more.
Yeah, you're pulling from like a big pool of items, and you're just hoping to get something. And you can gamble on it with your real money. Is the option sought out by the whales?
Yep. So that's just a little background. So character-wise, you want to try every character, like we mentioned before, they all have a weapon type that they use and an elemental type. I think there's swords, one-handed swords, claymores, lances, catalysts, which are like your casters, and bows.
Yeah. There's only 5, huh?
I believe, yes, only 5.
That sounds right.
And on top of that, characters also have a element that is unique to them. Well, it's not unique to them. Like, you can't change a character's given element, but so far there's a fire element, wind element, lightning element, an ice element, a earth element, and a water element. And there's supposed to be some like nature element, but there's no characters.
I think there's only like one enemy in the game right now that's actually that element naturally.
Mm-hmm. So each of these characters have their own element that you can use to create these elemental reactions to do like extra damage, or to maybe, I think lightning and electric lowers their defense.
Lightning and ice, I think it is.
Lightning and
ice.
The superconductor. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. So all these different elements have different reactions with each other. So it's really cool to build these teams of what you kind of want to focus on, big damage or, like cool status effects. If you have water and ice, you freeze them and they're just frozen.
And you can like smash them apart for more damage or something.
Yep. Like there's a lot of cool things to do with combat, and building your team, your favorite little team of girls is like the most fun.
Maybe put a guy on there if you want.
Maybe if you don't have, you got to put a guy, I guess.
If you don't have like cute girls.
If you don't have cute girls, you want to put a guy out, which is pretty unfortunate, but it has to be done. So, when you're building characters, there's a kind of like a sort of randomized loot to build armor sets with, basically, right? Artifacts.
Yeah, I think armor sets is a good way to put it, because it what did I compare it to? It's like Summoner's War or Monster Super League, where you can put on a few different pieces of this equipment. It's just equipment essentially, and then each one is can be part of a set. that you can match together to get set bonuses. They all come with a predefined main stat that goes up every time you invest in this as you upgrade it.
But the main stat is random on everything but the flower. I think the flower is always HP.
There's also a feather that comes with flat attack. It's always flat attack. And then the other three are more flexible. They'll come with something random from a small pool. Like, I think only one of the types can come with crit chance on it, But it won't always come with crit chance. It can come with something else. And then you got substats that are just completely random. And you don't even know what they all are until you invest in it a little bit. That's the most flexible that the system will get in terms of kitting out a specific character. Building it how you want.
Yeah, because the set bonuses they have some substantial bonuses.
Some of them are wild. Some of them are tame.
Some of them, yeah. I mean, as with any, you could have 1,000 HP, or you could have crit rate up. Yeah, what are you gonna pick?
Or you could
HP.
No. There's even more. Yeah, there's ones probably for swap into a character. When you collect money, you heal. Weird utility stuff.
Yeah. So, and each of these sets, they have two bonuses, right? So every single set has a bonus for equipping 2 pieces and equipping 4 pieces. So then that means that you can equip 2 of the 2-piece sets and get 2 different bonuses from different sets. But so it gets pretty creative, the sort of things you can do to upgrade your characters in different ways.
Yeah, I'm really liking that. It's kind of strange in a way that you have to continue to rank up your account, your adventure rank, in order to see more of these sets and get just the rarity of drops in the world slowly increases as you're reaching these new heights with your adventure rank. And so the game almost kind of tricks you into investing into these worse items early on. That's a little unfortunate, and because there are certain sets I'm aware of that I've even gotten a couple pieces for, and I want more of them, but they're so scarce, hard to come by. The rarities are really low when I do get them. And I think that's another symptom of the game is still so new that there's just not. I don't know if we're supposed to be investing too much into this stuff yet. Maybe the update drops and then everything we've done is invalidated because the natural progression picks up again.
Yeah, I mean that's always a thing. We could just be bashing our heads against a wall when there's a door waiting to be unlocked right next to us.
I strongly feel like that is the case. Yeah, that's why I'm not particular about. There's ways to spend your time in the game right now, and investing in those artifacts is kind of low on my priority list, even though it's pretty substantial to getting stronger.
Yeah, the artifacts are seems to be the easiest way to see significant boosts in your damage or what have you. But yeah, I don't want to invest too much in them either, because resources are pretty finite.
Because you can only get artifacts just kind of happenstance from the chests that are kind of dwindling in our worlds, both, I'm sure. Random little investigation points. And then running the stamina, the real-time stamina limited dungeons, which, there's so many resources in the game right now to be collecting, leveling up your characters, getting money to do anything that all costs that stamina. It really doesn't feel worth it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm stuck with my, I think 3-star. Stuff goes up to 5-star. I've got 3-star artifacts equipment on all my guys. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yep. I feel that. But, so this, oh boy, heavy stuff going on. Heavy stuff thinking about. This is a symptom. Going back to building party members. Gacha, huh?
Yeah, pulling on the gacha and how bad it is, how hard it is. Because you're talking about team building, putting elements together, just a little tangent on how to get them stronger, which is just another symptom of where the game state is. But if you want to actually experiment, do stuff in the game, you're limited by the gacha, getting more characters through luck, by chance, by pulling on this with what is essentially feels like a really finite, very limited resource unless you're putting money into the game.
Yeah. And my buddy here, my buddy Cole, my co-host, my second current active host here.
Yep, that's me.
He has not been graced. He's not been hit with the luck of the draw here with these gachas. So he's been sitting around with like a gimped-ass team of only mainly the free people that they give you.
Mostly the default people, yeah.
I do want to clarify, he does have Kuching, which he got by doing the arduous task of re-rolling, which is essentially creating multiple accounts, running through the beginning of the game, using the free beginner pulls they give you to try to start out with a character that you want.
Yeah, and this was one of the worst games for that, for re-rolling.
Yeah, and so that wasn't luck, that was perseverance. Like our buddy Michael, he pulled for 2 days, had all of us pity helping him pull too. Like, and I was pulling for the chance of maybe getting you both something.
Yeah,
so,
all three of us were re-rolling whole new accounts just to get something desirable, and I think out of like 10 accounts I got 2 5-stars in total, and then I haven't gotten anything since then on my account as I played.
The 5-star that he has been graced with was done by just putting in the time and just trying to game the odds. But now that he has an account, he hasn't pulled, anything too substantial. How many units do you have that aren't free in the game given to you?
I want to say 2.
Okay.
I want to say I have 2 characters outside of what they give you for free. So you start off with the Traveler, I think they're called, generally. And they're a 5-star.
Who is actually, they're considered a 5-star character.
So, everyone's got them. You get Noelle, you get Barbara, you get Xiangling, you get Amber, you get Kaya, and you get Lisa.
Yep.
So I have 9 total characters. I have 2 characters that I got from the gacha, and I've pulled 60, 70, 80 times.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed on any banner so far, I think, to get at least 1 4-star rarity or higher item. I've just been unlucky getting dupes of the free characters and weapons.
And weapons, yeah.
It's really strange, because I think in a game like Arknights, that's our other main mobile game, I think, both.
Yeah, we should also say that both Cole and I have been, we're kind of into the gacha. We're into we have quite a lot of experience playing gacha games. Yeah. Not to toot our own horns, not that it's actually anything to be fucking proud of. It's actually pretty bad.
I'm only going to say a fair amount, and I'm generally F2P. I think the last couple games I've been dipping my toes a little bit. Not for pulls, but, the monthly stuff.
The monthly, bonus things.
My luck's always bad, but, in Arknights, at least, it evens out. I think that's just how statistics are. As the longer you go on, the more it's going to even out, and you'll see your rates improve. But in Arknights, you can do stuff with the lower tier characters, and there's an advantage. They have a free gacha, is the thing.
Yeah,
that's one of the games where you can pull on the. It doesn't take the main currency. It's like a whole separate system, and you can pull pretty fast on that one and just get, all the cheap characters really quick. And that lets you fill out stuff like in that game your base, where you having more different characters is beneficial. Like in the main game, you don't need that many, and you can get very, very far with all of the cheap default characters. And in this game, you've got immediately, still early on, of course, but you've got the Abyss, where you need to make multiple viable combat parties. And you have Expeditions, where you need to send your characters out, and they're totally unusable to you for up to, what's the max, 15, 20 hours?
20 hours.
It's 20 hours if the character doesn't have a benefit that speeds it up. And you can't use them at all. So at this point, we both, I think, you can send 4 characters out. And I can't, because of my luck, I can't afford to do that. It would be beneficial to be sending characters out, but I need them to do challenges in the overworld, like to explore with, solve puzzles, and actually do the combat. You know, I can't afford to give up half of my entire roster to send out on this thing, even though it would be so helpful. And it's one of the worst systems I've seen early on.
Yeah, I think the gacha... I'm just going to come out and say this as an overall statement that I'll probably be coming back to quite a lot as we talk about the monetization systems of the game. Very, very predatory and pretty unfair.
So far, yeah, I'd say that's not too off the mark. I'm hoping that maybe, as always, it's just a symptom of early game. But
yeah,
it feels really bad right now, and I'll let you elaborate on why you think that first.
I also want to say this, too, before I get too far into shitting on these monetization systems. This fucking game has so much content, so much to do, so it's like pretty polished for the most part. It's very fun. It's beautiful. The music's very good. It's just a fucking incredible... It's a great experience, and it's free. This is a free video game that, honestly, it's like it kind of stands next to Breath of the Wild in a way.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's insane that this is a free game.
Yes,
to me.
I think that's fair. It is a very good, fun, free game.
That needs to be said. Like, we've put probably over 60 hours into this game, already, and it was on, nothing. It was essentially free. We've both bought the monthly little kit thing that gives you gems every day, which is $5.
And then there's a battle pass.
And there's a battle pass, which I did buy. I bought the $10 version of that. So I've put $15 into this game. And for the amount of content and fun and enjoyment and everything that I've got out of it, like the price of admission being $15 is extremely low. That's like Hollow Knight. That's like buying Hollow Knight for $15. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that is one of the best purchases, like that it's just like this is only $15.
Money for value. Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. So I just wanted to say that because this is a free game. You can get it on your phone. You can get it on PC. You can get it on PS4 for free and play and have such a great time. But now that we're hitting this sort of endgamey thing, and now that there's this really, really super predatory gacha with extremely low 5-star rates, more of the money requirements are sort of sticking their hands on my controller, on my keyboard and mouse while I play. They want me to go and buy stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way before. Like, this game is free, and at first glance it looks like it shouldn't be free.
Yeah,
it looks like a game that you pay $60.
It's very polished. I think that's a very good point. As polished, not as polished as Breath of the Wild, maybe.
Yeah,
but I think that maybe some of the animations are clipping into stuff sometimes, but overall, so good.
And the lighting system changing very suddenly between times of day.
Yeah, I guess that's another. There's a couple really minor nitpicks, and but this is like a mobile game, dude. That's what's crazy. Game. Is it feels like it doesn't feel like that in a lot of ways, but it is.
It doesn't. But this gacha and resin system and stuff, that's a big ugly monster.
The resin, the primo gems, and I think probably the battle pass specifically, right? Those are all the things. I think I didn't do the math on the $5 pass, but you get not 90 gems a day?
90 a day? Yeah.
For 31 days, whatever it is. And then you get a flat 300, whatever that one currency is.
You get 2,700 crystals.
Okay. So that's
over 2,700 primo gems across 30 days for $5.
Not counting the 300 of the things.
And when you buy it initially, you get 300 Genesis crystals, which can be used to buy any sort of currency.
Okay. So that's over one single pull of 10 costs 1,600. So this is more than that by 1,100. So you almost have 20 pulls if you log in every day for a month. Got it.
Yep. So getting into this gacha randomized character acquisition here. Everyone wants a 5-star character. Okay. No one wants I mean, okay, there's some cool 4 stars for sure. Don't get me wrong. But when you're pulling for these gacha characters, the 5-star ones are just so powerful, so useful. Like, you know, you want to get them. And the rate for getting a 5-star character is 0.06%.
That's one of the lowest I think I know of.
I think that might be the lowest. Like, I'm trying to think of Fate. Fate Grand Order had a really super low gacha rate as well. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like 0.0 something. 0.0x. If you see a 0 after a point, that's kind of worrisome.
Yeah.
I just feel, okay, earlier when I was talking about making party setups and stuff, I felt a little guilty saying that was my favorite part of the game, because I know that you haven't had as much. There's no way you could have had as much fun as I have had building a party with my units.
Yeah,
and it's just because of the gacha.
Not enough characters, and, you know, it's tough choosing to invest in them, because you always think, I've got to pull around the corner. I might get a new character I really like, and if I waste all of my time and resources on someone now and then have that one, you know, that feels bad. It's a bit of a catch-22.
So that's just a kind of an issue. We've come across some weird puzzles and stuff in the world that seem impossible to solve without either having a multiplayer party of other characters. There is multiplayer in this game too. I didn't mention that you can play this with friends and you could run around the world and whatnot together. But yeah, there were some puzzles that we ran across that seemed pretty... Maybe we're just smooth brains, but there were some puzzles that it was like, how do you solve this without having, you know, another wind character or another geo character or, you know, a water character or whatever?
Yeah. Of the like hundreds of puzzles in the game that I've solved, there's like only a handful, like less than 5, but they're there, and I don't know. They're, you know, in the back of my mind, it gnaws at me, because eventually, you know, we found ways to get around them through multiplayer or something. But it's in the back of my mind that I didn't solve that right. There's got to be a way to do it, because everything normally is solvable with the default free characters. They give you all these free characters, but I don't know. There are a few that seem rigged. Essentially, you need stuff that isn't accessible by the normal player. I mean, maybe some people don't even want multiplayer. They don't want to, or they don't. Some people don't even have people to play with. Yeah. So they can't. How do you solve these? Is sometimes my question. And maybe it's a really minor thing, but when most of your primo gems are going to come from like picking up new chests, solving new puzzles, it feels a little cheap that some of them aren't solvable without just the right amount of luck, the right amount of money invested into the game.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember we were talking a little bit about that would be fine, you know? That it would be kind of cool if there were some puzzles that you kind of had to remember to come. We were talking like, you know, almost Metroidvania-esque, where it's like, ooh, I can come back here now that I have this. But the problem with that is that it's all restricted to the gacha rates of maybe getting a character to get this, to solve this puzzle. So maybe it's possible, you know, you'll never get that character to solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible is the crazy thing. But, and then that also opens up another sort of complaint that, you know, I think both of us have had here. That, you know, they build a lot of puzzles around the main characters that you get for free. And so when you have other characters that you want to use, and then you come across a little, you know, fire lantern that you have to light as a character, then you have to go and switch to that character to go, you know, and it takes a while to switch characters. They don't have, like, swapping things between teams.
Yeah, you got to pop into your menus, wait for the little bar to load, swap in the character, and do all that, and then just probably take them right back out.
Yeah.
And it's even,
basically,
for the main character, it's even worse, right?
Yeah, the main character can swap her element, because the canon one is it has to be the girl, even though all the voice lines in English refer to they're all
from now on. It's a girl, 100%. It is a girl. Not going to hear otherwise.
Yep, the Traveler is girl Traveler. She can switch her elements at these statues, So she can switch from wind to geo so far, and we are assuming that as they add more nations and areas to the game, that she'll be able to switch to all the elements eventually. But the thing is, you can't do it on the fly. You have to stop what you're doing, teleport to the Statue of the Seven, the main waypoints, and then go switch to the girl. You can't switch.
Yeah, you have to be
character.
her on screen.
You have to be her on the screen and then talk to him and then go, all right, resonate with wind. Boom. And then you're done. You teleport back to wherever you need to go, solve the puzzle. It's really cool. Like, I remember I was like, whoa, that's so cool. She can swap elements.
Yeah,
but
same.
Since the main character can swap elements, then they designed all the puzzles around what that character can do with said element.
Yep. You don't get... Yeah, you get one element character for free for each element, but wind is only covered by the main character. So you come across... I haven't been lucky enough to get another wind character, so there's so many puzzles in the second zone that are tailored around Earth because the whole zone is Earth. So they kind of want you to be the Earth main character to set rocks down. But then there's plenty of wind puzzles around too. And I can't do anything
windmills
about it.
You can activate. There's little pedestals that you can light with wind to fly up. There's all kinds of wind stuff in the second nation that is totally like, oh, do you want me to be geo or wind? Because some of the geo statues you can't solve with the other free unit they give you, Noel.
Yeah.
You still need the main character to be geo to set these things on the plates. There's ways around it, like throwing Amber's little bunny, her cute little bunny out.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's ways around it.
And, now that I think about it, that one puzzle we did with Michael, where I had you two stand on that thing, on the pedestal, so I could... I wonder almost if that's intentional, because you can't use the Amber strategy on that. You need...
Yeah.
I think you need two separate things or just something really heavy. Like, most things you can just throw one item, and it's like a pressure plate. But this one...
That was a big pressure plate.
This one, only reacted when two players, two objects, or specifically the Earth main character's ability were on it. It acted differently than most other things in the game, and that was strange.
Yeah. So, the gacha... You want to be running around as these characters you like, but the game doesn't make it easy for you to even get a lot of characters without putting money into it.
And even once you get a lot of characters, it's not easy to switch between all your different characters anyway, once you even have access to them. They don't just tailor stuff around the elements either, because bow, right? Bow is utilized so much. You can't hit weak points with any other weapon, I think, than a bow. They have, designated, headshot zones. And that's extremely useful. But you only get the one bow character for free. So if you don't like them, if it doesn't work for you, good luck on the gacha, right?
As kissable as Amber is, her kit isn't that good. And that's another kind of fucked up problem with the gacha system. It's because every character has constellations, which are sort of a reward for getting duplicates of characters. You can unlock more sort of cool abilities for them to use. Yeah. And I think there's 6 constellations for every character.
So you need 7 total copies of a character to max them
out. So I remember when we first were using Amber. Remember that? And we threw her bunny down, and we were like, okay, activate it to blow it up, right? But you have to wait for it to blow up.
Yeah, enemy has to destroy it, or you have to just wait for the timer.
Yep. And lo and behold, I look at Amber's constellations. Her second tier is that if you shoot it with a fully charged shot, it blows up. Yeah. And it seems kind of like, at first I was like, constellations are fucking cool. Like, we were comparing other games, getting dupes in other games. Yeah. Like, the reward seems much better in this game. Like, oh, I wouldn't mind getting a dupe of this character. Yep. Because I get these things. But it seems like certain things are just things that you should have right off the get-go. Like, this bunny thing just seemed like it should have been in her kit right away.
Yeah, that one is a really solid example of something I would expect by default.
Yeah, like characters like Ku Ching, her stuff seems like it's just super cool. Like, she gets just stronger. It's nothing that seems like her kit needs or anything. Yeah. And maybe that's just because, I don't know, I got to look at more 4-star characters, but like characters like Fischl, everyone says she's insanely overpowered with all her constellations. So I wonder if they sort of weight it differently.
Based on 4 and 5
stars.
star or something?
Yeah. Because you're probably more likely to get 4-star characters. So then they hide more of the good stuff, more the good eaten behind those constellations.
Yeah, we brought that up momentarily before, didn't we? Where it's almost like 4-star characters, their constellations, their duplicate abilities, bring them up to snuff, with on par with like a 5-star, and then the 5 stars just make them overpowered.
Yeah, but that's kind of a kind of messed up.
That is a very double-edged sword for me, because in Arc Knights specifically, duplicates are minor increases. You could go with them, you could go without them. I don't think there's any strategy that's made or broken by having or not having a duplicate of a character. When you get one, it's like a max rarity character in that game it's 6. Either way, max rarity character in that game, you get a dupe, it's a little deflating, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's not substantial enough of a bonus to really care about, and then your rate, your pity rate that you've been building up is gone. Yeah. And in this game, I think it will always exist that if it's a character you don't like or don't use, you don't care about it. So ignoring that, if it's a character you like and you get a dupe in this game, it would be very impactful. It would be a really nice bonus. But at the same time, it's kind of too much, you know?
Right.
It goes both ways. I like it and I hate it.
Right. So that's just another weird thing with this gacha, that some of the abilities are locked behind getting multiples of characters, and if you want to get multiples of your favorite 5-star character, good fucking luck.
Good luck.
Good fucking luck. It's just really strange. Like the gacha, you certainly don't need it, but I mean, to get constellations, you don't need it, but you definitely need it to build out teams of characters, because there's a lot. You need a lot of characters.
There's no PvP in the game either, so it's more understandable that, in a way, it's nice when everything just makes you stronger, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, the fact that whales are going to get stronger than the average player, even more so than what you would regularly expect. You know, they have more options. They're farming more materials with their money because they're paying for resets. And then beyond that, you've got, they're getting dupes, and it's making them incredibly more powerful than a regular player. It doesn't really affect you in any negative way.
They're just, keeping the servers up.
Because it's PvE. So I don't think of it too negatively, at least. But it's still a really strange decision to me, just because the rates are so bad. And that's exacerbated, I think, by the rate of the currency that you get to pull with for free.
Yep. It seems like a lot of these problems, thinking about some other aspects of the game that we'll get into in a minute, I'm sure, maybe in an hour or so. It seems like these problems could be mitigated with just slightly more. They could just give us slightly more. Like, where we're at, the way to get Primo Gems, which is the currency you use to buy pulls in the gacha, essentially. You get them through quests. You get them through exploration, opening chests. You get them through fulfilling achievements. And you get them through your daily commissions.
Yeah.
Is there any more that I'm missing?
There might be, but yeah, it's generally the first time you complete something, you get Primo Gems for it, and then the only really renewable way, I think, is chests that might respawn. I don't know the rules of that, and your dailies. So that's all you got.
So if players in general have to wait until completing, I wonder how often though will refresh or add new main story quests, or even just side quests, or if there will be a monthly chest reset with half the chests available or something. I wonder if any of that stuff will be added or consistently updated, because at this point all we have is our $5 monthly thing that gives us 90 gems and daily commissions. And opening, hopefully, if you could stumble across, the same areas that you've searched a bunch of times already, maybe 2 primo gems from opening a chest that respawns.
Oh, yeah, you don't get them from the respawning chests, huh? So I misspoke.
You do. You do if they're exquisite chests.
Only exquisites?
The common ones, I don't think you do. See,
okay.
a lot. We also have to clarify here. We're not looking a lot of shit up on Reddit. We're kind of keeping this. Maybe that's a fault. We're talking about shit we don't know. Who knows? But I'm not looking into the meta of the game. I don't want to know, farming routes or whatever. Like, I want it to be somewhat organic. But I guess now that I'm hitting this wall, I'm more inclined to start looking some stuff up. But
yeah, 'cause I don't know about any of the chest respawning. That's probably a well-defined aspect of the game people that are online in the community know about and like how it works. And I'm blind here.
I know it happens. I know for sure it happens because I know that one chest, that exquisite chest that I found right by that waypoint. There's no way I missed it.
And I'm just taking your word for that. Honestly, I really don't know. Maybe you're blind.
No,
who knows?
I'm not. I'm not. Believe me.
Yeah, you're just asking me to believe you, dude. I don't know.
Okay, believe me then.
I haven't experienced anything yet so far that leads me to believe that kind of stuff respawns, but I also don't really have a reason not to believe you.
Yeah, common ones. I know those respawn, and I don't think they give you any primo gems.
I've definitely opened plenty where they don't give me them.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the separation, because you like the new ones, when you first find a common one, gives you 2, right?
I'm pretty sure.
And then now these repeat ones, maybe that we've opened before, only give 0. They only give
0.
They only give you no primo gems. And then the exquisite chests that used to give you 5 primo gems, now they only give you 2 primo gems. And I think that's the degree of separation between these respawn chests and then the first time opening them.
Yeah, and it's like a steady income of primo gems at first, but then it starts to dry up pretty fast once you get done exploring. Yeah,
if you're polling and stuff, like I've been saving. I've been a hoarder with my primo gems right now and all the currencies. Like, I want to get specific characters that I know. Like, there's a cute sword girl that I want to get. I don't know when she's coming to the game, but with these rates, I have to just start saving now, and because I don't want to mess up. I don't want to not get her. Ayaka, best girl. But if I didn't save, it'd be drip feed. It'd be a drip feeder of possibly maybe the 90 plus, I think, 50 from the commissions, and then maybe an odd 10 if you open a bunch of chests, if you happen to be grinding that aspect of the game, which doesn't seem very fun.
Yeah, it's really weird. I'm
sorry, you also get them for adventure rank rewards.
For leveling up, I guess.
But that's becoming...
That's almost like a cyclical issue, though, because you're getting XP... the resources or the ways to get XP kind of dwindle away as well.
Yeah.
Like, once again, it's just your dailies and opening chests that I guess are respawning. You don't get them from, killing regular enemies or anything. So there's realistically a really finite kind of way to earn account XP, adventure rank XP.
Yeah. So it's basically kind of relying mainly on commissions and the resins, and both of those are finite. The resins are another currency used, which is basically the stamina system in most gacha games. You have to cash these resins in to get rewards for clearing little dungeon timed boss battle things, or timed attack modes, or like world bosses, or these little combat challenges that give you experience or gold. Each of these costs different amounts of resin. There's a world boss that you can only kill once a week that costs 60. You have a total of 120, and it refreshes, I don't know how many per hour, but I know it's 16 hours to get 120 of them.
Yeah, I think it's every 2 hours you get 15 at that rate. So
Okay.
it's not an even number at 1 hour.
Right. So that's kind of an issue because there's so much to say. This resin thing specifically, man. Damn.
For me, it's weird because Genshin, in its current state, feels like a game kind of torn in half, where you are playing sort of like a console experience, Breath of the Wild-esque sort of game, where you're playing, running around, jumping around, killing guys, doing normal stuff, and then once you hit probably Adventure Rank 20 and all the daily stuff starts to open up and you need to start spending your resin, the game sort of dumps you into this like standard affair, a standard mobile gacha game where you have daily stamina that you jump into the game for 10, 20 minutes, spend it, and then go away. You don't play the game anymore. Even though it kind of, the way that the game teaches you to play it isn't like that.
Yeah.
You know, the way you experience it doesn't feel like that. It's much more engrossing than that. So it's split down the middle in this way, and it's a game that's torn, I think.
That's something that was one of the points I wanted to talk about, actually, was the separation and combination of mobile game and basically authentic console quote unquote experience, like the triple A experience or whatever you want to refer to it as. It's kind of an interesting marriage because it hasn't really been done. Like every mobile game I've seen, you have a home base that you sit at that place. Then you send your people out on little missions. You can sometimes play in the missions, and that's it. And then you go back to your home base. You see like a little still PNG image of your waifu that you rolled to get a lot. And she, like, you can poke her and she says something. And that's the interaction with your character that you like. And like this game, even if I, have completed all the, quote unquote necessary gacha, like leveling things, used all my resins, done everything that I should have done for my daily stuff to acquire money and level up materials, I still want to keep playing because the game is there's still more to do. Like not just more to do as in, oh, I still got to level up my people, but it just feels like I'm in this open world. There should be more for me to do. It feels like a normal game, like I can just keep playing, but really there is a limit for how much you can really play in a day without spending money, because you can only walk around these areas so much with it's still fun. I mean, I don't know. It's really interesting. The
mechanics of the game just kind of shut off and you're just left in your open world sort of photo op, like a little simulator. All the mechanics fall off at that point once everything is so sparse that you'd be looking through every nook and cranny for hours for any shred of content to do.
Yeah. And, for the game's credit, there has been some places, I mean, the game is so huge that I have totally missed entire areas searching. Yeah, and it's always been like a nice treat to be like, oh, holy shit, this whole area? Fuck yeah. Then you do it. You play for like an hour, clearing out rooms or doing puzzles. And then, that's what you're left with. But it's just like, that's kind of our fault for no-lifing the game, playing constantly for a week and a half. But I mean, there is still a lot to do and work towards, and I'm not done. I'm not sitting here like there's nothing to do, fuck it. I'm like, I have a lot of goals that I really want to achieve, but there's gates in front of these goals, and the gate is called resins.
Yeah, the game wants you to play it a lot at the start, and then it teaches you the wrong lessons almost, and it says, all right, stop, no more fun. Take it really, really, really slow. We're going to control your experience now. I
love grinding too. Like, grinding is fun. I think, I'm totally content with the grind itself, like having to run these little domain dungeons to get materials to level up my characters.
Yeah, I don't hate that either.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the adventure rank things, whatever. But like the hugest, biggest, most massive problem in the game for me right now isn't even the gacha, it's the resin system. Like, the resin system, it because you need these resins to cash in, to get rewards for doing these things, and you can only do a couple things a day.
And those are the only sources for these things, too.
Yep. That's another thing. Yeah, you can't just go and farm monster drops. You have to spend your resins, and there's just a plethora of different things to spend resins on, too. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be sitting there with, spending your resins in, like 10, 15 minutes, killing a boss 2 times, and that's all you can do for that day.
Yep.
And that's the biggest problem, I think, with the longevity of this game, because, spoiler alert, Abyss spoiler alert, I think we talked about it briefly, but I was hit with a huge wet bag, a wet plastic bag, I was hit with a cold wet plastic bag in my face when I hit Abyss Floor 5.
That's an oddly specific feeling.
I was hit with a sack of potatoes. It would be
a bag of soda right to the face.
Yeah, splashing. When I hit Floor 5 and realized, oh fuck, I need to build 4 more characters.
Yeah, 8 viable combat characters. Well, you could take less, I think, but why would you?
Yeah, I mean, you
kind of
need. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could run in with 2-3 on each team, but
you're setting yourself up for failure there.
Yeah. And then I realized, I need to grind out more stuff for more people, and I have the same amount of resins, and more domains are opening up for more things that I need. Mm-hmm. If I build more characters, then I need to send more weapons, which means I need to get different materials for these different weapons, which means I have to add that on top of the weapon materials that I'm already farming for now.
And then there's talents unlocked. And you need to unlock talents and upgrade those. And there's different books for all the different characters, and they're open on different days.
If you miss a day, then you have to wait, a couple days. Hopefully you fucking remember when the next day comes. Mm-hmm. There's no shortage of things to do. None. Yeah, and it's almost overwhelming.
A shortage of resin.
There's just a shortage of resin, and this could be fixed they need to fix it somehow. Like, they need to either increase the cap of resin or the refresh. No, just the refresh rate.
The cap doesn't. I've read a little bit about this online and what people have suggested. I don't see what the cap is going to do, because the cap itself actually seems like fairly standard. You look at Arknights, you get 1 stamina per 6 minutes, so it refreshes faster than resin in Genshin.
Yeah.
And then, as much as I've played for months of Arknights every day, pretty much every day, really high level to increase the stamina cap in that game, and I have 130 in that game. Mm-hmm. So it's 10 more, and it refreshes way, way faster. And at that rate, I think you go from 0 to cap every 12 hours. So you log into the game twice a day, spend it all, and you're done. Mine not counting potions and whatnot. So in Genshin, the cap seems fine. It's 16 hours. You have plenty of time to get there if you spend it down low enough, which isn't too bad, to get back into the game. But the refresh rate is abysmally slow, and the source for refills is extremely limited. I don't know how you get them except just leveling up your account, right?
Yep.
Or spending real money primo gems.
Spending real money, yeah. And even that is limited to 6 times a day. And the price of the resin, if you're refilling with primo gems, goes up.
Goes up. Yeah, each time you do it in a day. That's crazy.
That's predatory as hell, too. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, if it just refilled faster, that would be fine. It's every time I log on, I log on 2 times a day too. And I do the first session, I'm usually just quick use all my resins up. But it's only like 60 or 80. And then I come on later and it's another 60 or 80. And then that's it. And it's just so much to do with so little resin. And it just buying, look, you can gamble for characters. No, you can't. That's wrong too, actually. But
Yeah.
once you're asking me personally, okay, the whales, whatever, you can do whatever you want. Once you're asking me to pay to play the game, like to advance my characters, I go, I don't know.
Incrementally. You're not even paying a sub for a month of access. You're paying, oh, can I please, Mr. Mihoyo, can I please do one weekly boss right now?
And then John Mihoyo goes, how much money do you got? How much money do you got?
Open up your wallet, kid.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know, man. The resin system, I really, these next couple updates are going to be extremely telling, because I'm pretty sure that my roommate Nick mentioned that the my friend and roommate, he's not an extended, he's a good friend. I just want to clarify.
Thank you for clarifying.
My good friend and roommate Nick,
my enemy.
He mentioned something that even the Chinese players have been complaining about the resin too, and there's been a lot of give and take about like, oh, who's Mihoyo going to listen to, the Western audience or the Chinese audience? Like, there's all this weird shit going on. I'm not too concerned about it. All I want to know is if they're going to change these resins or make it some way to give us a little more in our coffers, in our resin coffers.
Yeah, here's what I want to propose. So let's think of, if they don't change the resin system at all, how to fix that, and then after that, how could they change the resin system? So, starting off, they don't change it. They don't change the cap. They don't change the refresh speed. Well, they could change the refresh. They don't change the cap. Let's just say that's about it. And they keep resin as a system of stamina to spend on stuff. They don't change how much everything costs. What else would you do to fix it?
I would say, those fake leaks that went around, the 1.1 update leaks, when it said, oh, you can talk to the Adventure Guild girl and she'll give you like a little stipend of resins daily.
Okay.
So if you went there, and even if she gave you 40 resins to just cash in, sure, that'd be cool. I'd even get on my knees and beg for 20 extra resins. I'd even sup upon 20 resins. Just anything, because that's an extra domain, That's extra stuff. Yeah, so if there was some kind of daily reward system for logging in and just getting a yummy snack of like 20 resins or 40 or something like that, that would mitigate it.
And it should go over the cap too. If they're going to do that, they'd have to let it go over 120 or you'd get very mad.
Yeah, that'd be fair too. Well, that's the thing, is I hope it'd be an item, like a fragile moon sort of thing that you can use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to cash in.
Maybe it expires. Maybe it has the emergency sanity potion effect where it's like, use it in a week or it goes away.
Yeah, if they just gave out more of the fragile resins, the little stamina potions, I think all other things intact, that would probably be fine, but it would need to be much more significant than the way it is now. I've hoarded most of mine and I don't have that many.
I think the resin concept is fine, like within the, because there's got to be some sort of, this is a gacha game, If you just had all free reign to advance your characters, you could just steamroll this shit, you know what I mean? And just get right through to the next wall. And I think, like, it makes sense that there's a wall right at 30 here because there's no more story content. So maybe they're just gating us, like, okay, wait, hold on, guys, But another thing about the resins is that that's another way to get your adventure rank experience.
Yeah, what's the rate? It's 20 resin is 100 adventure rank XP.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 20.
I believe.
I'm pretty sure it's 20 is 100, and then if you use 60, I think you get 350 experience.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, not like you could spend more on something, but yeah, I think if you do the weekly bosses, you get more. Yeah.
Ley lines give you 100. The domains,
and then
like
the bosses,
Storm Terror, you get 300.
The 40 cost ones, those must give you 200. Then, like you're getting a nice amount, so they're not screwing you over there.
Yeah, that's all spread. It's spread pretty evenly.
I think it would be more interesting if they changed resin entirely. I read one really good idea. Do you have any other Like ideas for how to keep it before I move on?
Oh no, let's talk about changes.
Okay. The best idea, or the one that I agreed with the most that I had read, was that you keep resin in the game as it is, but you can always still loot all these things for no resin, but at like reduced rewards, no adventure rank XP.
Okay, I'm into that.
So you could run like a whole domain for one book instead of like 3 or whatever for that you would pay resin for, and then you don't get adventure rank XP. So you can keep doing all the things you want to do. You can keep playing the game and grinding even harder, and the game isn't going to tell you no, you can't. It's almost like resin is a boost at that point. Even though it's
instead
not.
of a requirement. Mm-hmm. That's definitely a great idea. That's like a really, really good idea, because resin right now feels like a requirement, a thing that you have to do, to upkeep your account and to keep progressing. You have to log in. You have to log in twice a day to spend your resin.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to get experience stuff. Yeah, man, I'd be way into that if that were the case. Super, super small rates of loot or experience or books or whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, I like that idea. Of course, they could always just remove resin, but I don't know what they would do if they did that, because as you said, you get XP from it. And the way it is now, I know you do need a lot of materials and money to upgrade stuff. But I think that if you had infinite resin, or resin didn't exist, that would instantly become almost a non-issue.
Yeah.
It's like an MMO time commitment at that point, unless they just did lockouts and everything.
Like maybe this stuff is the gate before new content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they want to stop you at around AR 30. Because there's no more story quests and nowhere to progress anymore. So, like, maybe this is sort of an artificial slowdown zone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we beat the current content in like a week. So,
it feels like there is a natural curve to the progression that they kind of intend. And I don't know if that's with all the pieces together. Because maybe the game feels better once they have all this stuff in place that they planned. I don't know if they really planned for how people would experience the game at each little stopgap of content that they release. I'm not sure how they thought ahead for that, because in an MMO, each patch has a definitive cycle that you can play and enjoy for each content update, even though you don't get the whole picture till the end of, an expansion or whatever. That's another way that this game feels conflicted to me. I can't tell.
That is interesting. Yeah, I mean, we don't have really a scope until maybe they start releasing the next update for, how are they going to be changing the game? What are they going to be adding with these patches? I'm kind of unfamiliar with patches like this. Is 1.0 or 1.1 like quote unquote significant? Because wouldn't they do like 1.0 whatever if it was just bug fixes?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably how it usually goes. If you are doing a 0.0 something, then it's like it's bug fixes, minor changes, and then a number of 0.1 to whatever is within the same. The way the WoW does it, I think, would be the main number changes when it's a whole new expansion, and then the 0.1, 2, 3 is bigger content updates.
Okay.
So the decimal place does, kind of matter, at least from my experience with WoW, in terms of what kind of update you can expect.
So 0.1 should be something significant.
Yeah, I would think so. If they're adding a whole region to explore, I think that qualifies as a 0.1 to the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see some good changes to some of these systems, because, the resin as it currently stands. Okay, hold on. We've almost glanced over the battle pass.
Yeah.
Battle pass. That is something that's linked to the resins as well, and is predatory in itself too.
That's true. Yeah.
The battle pass, you can get it for free. It's a free thing. But if you spend $10 on it, you can unlock more materials.
Yeah, I think it's a staple in some other games too. Battle Pass, I think, is the catch-all term for it, even. But not all games. Usually, you have to buy the Battle Pass. I think, just in general, you can't access it at all. But I think in Rocket League, Phantasy Star Online 2, those are the two games I've played with Battle Passes. There's the bottom layer that you pay for, and it's the same in Genshin.
Right. So you can either buy the Battle Pass for $10, or you can buy it for $20 and get like a boost to the levels and some extra little trinkets and doodads and baubles. But the Battle Pass, basically you gain experience for it by doing little quests daily and weekly and over the course of the whole Battle Pass. But one of the weekly missions in this Battle Pass is impossible to accomplish without spending money on the game. There's a mission to spend 1,600 original resins every week, and at the current resin refresh rate and rate of getting resins, that's not possible in a week. Now, granted, it is still possible to level up the Battle Pass. Statistically, with what information we have, it should still be possible to level it up to 50 without doing that, but it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, that kind of compounds with the limited nature of the fragile resins and everything too.
Yeah. Fragile resins, so far, the only way to get those is by leveling up your adventure rank. And as that starts to slow down, there's no other way to really get them in the game without spending money. So essentially, to complete this Battle Pass mission, you got to basically spend money.
I wonder if they designed the Battle Pass like too early. Maybe because 1.1 is slated via leaks to drop soon, right? Like this Sunday or whatever?
Allegedly, yeah. They're testing it right now.
Yeah, what if they designed the Battle Pass around things that you were going to have access to in that? Like, what if there is already... They always plan to have resin work a different way, and this is almost like a piece of the game that they meant to launch with or something.
That's what I was kind of holding out, or like sort of picturing why you'd get resins daily, extra resins. I was thinking, like, there has to be a way to spend these. Because I fucking play a lot every day. Don't have to work that much essentially unemployed. I'm playing this game. I'm not that much of a slacker. Do nothing, but I do play a lot of Genshin. So
religiously,
this
is my religion.
Yes, and it's not possible to do it even as much as I play. And I'm level 34. How many resins do I have? I did it last week. I did that daily thing. I have 19. And now it's getting to be hard to level up. It's slowing way down. And if I start using those to just do the weekly things, then I'm not going to have any more left.
Yeah. And they want you to do... I haven't done the math on the other things. They want you to do 20 ley lines in a week.
Yeah.
You don't have the one for bosses, but
no.
I have the one for bosses. I think it's 10 elite bosses, which cost 40 apiece. And then you got to do the wolf this week, I think. So
yep, and I have the Storm Terror too.
So they don't... Yeah, I probably have that as well. So I don't know how much that adds up to. I'm not going to calculate it right now, but they're like mapping out what they want you to do too. Like, unless... Because it's possible to do these challenges. Oh, and domains too. There's one to do so many domains. So you can do these and then not spend your resin to progress on the Battle Pass for the week. But it obviously makes much more sense to do them and then spend it. So it's kind of like the game is mapping out exactly how much of this stuff you're going to do.
Yeah,
and
that feels
and they're
bad.
Prioritizing 20 ley lines over 10 domains.
Yeah,
and for me, that's like backwards. Why would you want to run? So I'm actively doing these things that are giving me nothing except progress on this dumb Battle Pass because
right.
I'm not spending on them, and that seems very wrong.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That's a very interesting point. Didn't think about that. They're like, okay, you're gonna do weekly. Like, yeah, I mean, I need money, so I was doing the ley lines. It's fine for me, but knowing that I have to spend 20, resins 20 times, like over the course of a week, that locks away a lot of my resins.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's like because easy math. Okay, 20
Quick
ley
maths.
lines. 20 ley lines times 20 resin. That's 400 resin. You get 160 a day. So that's over 2 days worth. It's like 2.5 almost. Well, not 2.5. 2 and like a third.
There goes a nice quarter of the week. The allotted week resins.
On just ley lines.
Just ley lines.
And those give the least amount of reward, probably. At least in terms of the XP one, which seems weighted wrong.
Yeah. And that's just fucked up.
Resin's just a problem.
It's the biggest problem. Yeah, like I said, it's the biggest problem I have with the game so far. I don't even have a problem with the concept of resins, but it's the biggest, I just think it's a huge problem as it stands. It needs to be
the way it's
mitigated
balanced
somehow.
out in the game right now, it doesn't feel right, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm really, really hoping 1.1 is going to be a very interesting patch in a lot of ways, because it should be very telling of how they're planning to add content and fix certain things. Unless they've had this planned for a long time. Who knows?
Yeah, they maybe they've had 1.1 planned out. Honestly, I'm not too faithful. I'm not too hopeful that that's the case.
That they'll fix it?
No, that they've already got a fix in store because 1.1 was maybe intended for the original release. I mean, with COVID out right now, everything's been, haywire. I'm sure game development is hard, and it's very possible they released the game without all the features they intended and didn't. Like this, their whole resin system on the Battle Pass is so glaring that it really seems like it just seems obvious, right? No company that releases a game of this quality could really overlook some simple numbers like that, right?
Especially one that's been through 3 beta tests. 3 closed beta tests prior and an open beta test.
Yeah, and there's some technical issues too that, real quick, you can't rebind your keys even though the menu says you can. Controllers are kind of an issue in a few different ways. Dialogue is all messed up in some parts,
Yeah.
I feel like there's some visible signs of probably some COVID affected development on this game. At least I hope that's why.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, everyone talks about their other game, Honkai Impact, and how, they have steadily updated it and made it better over the years. Mm-hmm. And I hope they do make these changes to make the player base happy and make it so that I don't feel like they don't want me to actively play their game. Make it a little more, free. I guess free to play friendly, even though it just feels it feels weird to say that because this game is very free to play friendly.
It's an engaging game that doesn't want you to play it.
Yeah.
When you reach the point we're at.
Yes. But, getting through the main story quest, doing all this fun shit, it's a free to play, player's heaven. But for a gacha gamer, what is the game trying to be? A gacha game or just a game?
Yeah. That's an inherent struggle to the kind of boundaries they're trying to break.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty fair that they would run into some issues. It's just some of these are a little obvious. Mm-hmm. Obviously half-baked.
I'm holding out. I have, some high hopes.
Yeah. I got faith for the future of the game, not the distant future, but the less so distant future. But in the immediate future for some of these updates, unless they show me something real considerable, I'm not expecting a whole lot.
Right. I know, even if I end up taking a break, I know once I see oh, hey, we're coming out with the new, Inazuma's coming in this update, I'll be like, oh shit. I'd jump back in to keep playing for sure.
Yeah.
But whether I'm going to be a consistent player, trying to, I'm kind of stoked about the Abyss. I really want to try and, get some cool teams maxed out for some of that end game kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, it's do I want to struggle in the grind against the game to even reach that point? Yeah, that's the question.
That's kind of the ultimate end game right now, huh? Is the Abyss?
Currently, yeah. Yeah, I'd say so.
And I don't know much. You said the Spiral Abyss too is a thing I don't really know much about.
Yeah, I don't know if it's endless or what, but it seems to be like almost the competitive aspect of the game. Like people are trying to get fast runs and trying to get as far as they can or something like that. Seems cool. Like I'm totally into that. But currently, yeah, so that's all I know. I think that's the major end game thing to work towards right now, which is I'm fine with that. I'm far away from doing that, but
it seems like a weird one single focal point for them to have endgame based around. But there's another thing that was rumored, and I think it would be a good segue. They said 8-player, sort of a raid dungeon domain thing. But 8 players is more than what you can mess around with right now.
Right.
Because the multiplayer actually, though existent, is pretty limited, right?
It's pretty bare bones, yeah.
So you can do domains together, which is just like a single room for combat arenas, and you can explore the world together, but like only the host really gets to do anything.
Yep. The host is the only one who gets any of the... You can't get chests or anything. Only the host can. And you can't talk to anybody. You can't interact.
Yeah, okay, NPCs, yeah.
Yeah, you can't... Like, if I'm in your world and I'm like, I want to upgrade my equipment, I gotta go synthesize something. I can't in your world.
I don't think I can either.
Yeah, so there's a lot of limitations. But I hope they fix those out and iron them, because it can be really fun to just like run around this world together. Anyway, the main thing that I want them to add in multiplayer that would add a lot more to do would be just like a multiplayer Spiral Abyss that you can challenge with your party of buds. You can work and try and get farther and like build team comps and stuff together with all your characters that maybe you don't have access to. That would just be kind of fun to like... It'd just be really... That could add just so much to the game, I feel.
Oh, man. Didn't we think... we assumed that the Abyss was multiplayer at first.
Yeah, at first we thought it was.
Man, wouldn't it be so cool if you and a friend... Like, imagine the Abyss floors where you need 2 parties of 4.
Oh.
And then not just thinking like, oh, your friend does a party of 4 on one side and you do the other side. But imagine you put your characters together in a pool and you could actually play your friend's characters on a team of 4.
That'd be so cool.
That'd be so weird and wacky, but I don't know.
It'd be fun to test
It'd just be
them.
cool. Yeah, like the combos that you're like, oh, if only you had my character and you could perform this combo with the characters you have, sharing resources to do that. I don't think they would ever do that, but I think it would be really neat.
But a multiplayer Abyss doesn't seem like it doesn't seem too hard to implement, I'd imagine, Yeah,
it's not far-fetched with the rest of the game's content. I think it would fit right in.
And I think, like, if it's free, just like the Abyss, doesn't cost anything, and you could just go in with your friends whenever you want, that would add so much content. Like, It would be fun. It would be an awesome challenge. So I'm really, really hoping that they add that, like, really bad. I don't give a shit about 8-person things right now. I think that's, like, biting off a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's a little extra.
But if they just added more things to do with your current 4-man party, whether that be, like, something that you don't have to spend resins to do, but it's still worth your time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's asking a little too much for this game, huh? But I just think, an Abyss would be excellent. It's like the perfect thing you need.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's kind of the ultimate end game combat team building challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, the quests, I think, are kind of the end game exploration challenges if they have really difficult quests, or I think that there could be more done with dailies too. I mean,
definitely.
I'm not trying to sidetrack the whole multiplayer thing, but there's just a lot more I think they could add to to flesh out the non-resin part of the game.
Yeah, big time. And yeah, more dailies. Just more dailies. You need more now that we're, they should have like a rank requirement, and then they add more because they know, oh, you don't have any other ways to get Primo gems. Here you go. Here's some more dailies for you,
Mm-hmm. Spiral Abyss multiplayer. That's what they need.
Spiral Abyss multiplayer I'd be so content with the multiplayer if just that were added. Like, that's the thing I thought you could do. Is I thought dungeons were going to be more like dungeons,
like the single player domains, and then the ones that we get for grinding are just one room.
Yep. Yeah, they're all just one room, one combat challenge, basically. But if it was like floor after floor where you pick buffs and you get like randomized things every 15 days, like, oh, you know, different things to work around. And then the combat is a lot harder because it's scaled for 4 people. Oh,
yep.
So fun. God damn, that would be so cool. I really hope they add that.
Yeah, I don't really know what they could do for the overworld multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun as it is. You just need goals. I mean, we're doing our little daily farming things, running around killing those bosses, but...
Yeah, just trying to get ascension materials and stuff, but that, you know, it feels like we're kind of almost going out of our way to make that our objective.
Just to try to play anything to play multiplayer, basically.
Because I don't think it's really fair to open chests in other people's world or get items from it, essentially, but... And you can't really interact with a lot of the puzzle elements in another person's world. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there's got to be more, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like it's a straight-up waste of time to be in someone else's world.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because you can tell they designed it as a single-player game, first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm being ungrateful, and the multiplayer is just a nice addition that we otherwise wouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. Maybe there will be some... I mean, I've heard talk of housing. They want to do housing and stuff, player housing and farming and fishing and stuff like that.
That sounds crazy to me, but it would be cool.
It would be way cool, like, especially online. But the way that Honkai Impact worked, like, they didn't have any big hubs to do, like, free roam with other players for, like, the beginning of the game. And then they added stuff, like a little hub world that you could run around and see other people. So maybe... Mm-hmm. You know, maybe we'll get more, like, elements. I'm sure we'll get more elements to do, multiplayer stuff and more incentive, too.
I'm really hoping so, because the multiplayer, although I didn't know what to expect, I was really hoping to explore the world and have fun, but the way it is now, it feels like it's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm. It's still fun. It is still fun, but...
Yeah, we're making our own fun, but the game isn't really incentivizing us to do that.
Yeah, no incentive and no reward or... you know, that you couldn't do by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, multiplayer, yeah.
Ooh, you know what's an important thing to talk about? And this just happened before we started recording, is the world level, right?
World level, yeah.
So the world level, the game, as you reach certain adventure ranks, and sometimes even they make you do a little trial before you're allowed to pass, but otherwise it's automatic, and the whole world scales up, and all the rewards get better, and all the enemies get harder.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's a cool system. Like, I like the idea of upgrading my world level and like getting stronger and getting more drops is the main thing. Like, I want to get better shit for sure.
Yeah, more and better drops, and it's a great way for them to keep the old zones relevant, because otherwise it would be more static. Mondstadt is level 10 to 20 guys or something like that, or level 1 to 20, and then you're like, okay, no need to go to Mondstadt anymore. I'm a Liyue guy now,
Mr. Liyue.
But this way they keep the whole game relevant as it scales up.
Yeah, and monsters still drop. It's important because monsters drop higher level materials that you need, but they also drop the base level materials too. I'm really glad they did that. Because otherwise, what would you do?
Yeah, and in higher quantities.
Yeah.
They drop the lower stuff in higher quantities. You get I feel like we used to only get one of the gray, flower extract or whatever from the flower. Yeah. Now, at this point, we're getting 3 every time, and then you have a chance to get a green one too, like a higher tier.
And all those really can be synthesized to the next level with X amount of them too, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm really into that system overall, but the issues.
But yeah, I feel like they should have made it so that you have to do a quest to level up the world level, no matter what. It shouldn't just happen.
Mm-hmm.
We have a little buddy, a poor, sweet, innocent little friend who innocent. We refer to as a C tier gamer, but she's trying her best to like keep up with us, and she's doing a pretty damn good job.
Yeah.
But she recently hit 30, and the world rank leveled up without her consent.
No input, just up. Yeah.
She leveled up and she was doing a quest, and now like she's so weak that she can't complete this battle challenge quest, and because she's doing a quest currently, she can't get help from anybody online, like to even just farm materials to level up to be able to complete the quest, because she's currently in a quest, so you can't have people come in co-op with you and help you farm or anything.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
I don't know if that's user error or if that's really
that
flawed.
that doesn't sound like user error. I don't think it's not the biggest flaw in the game, but it's like once you hear it happening, you're like, yeah, that shouldn't be possible. It's kind of messed up.
That's why I was thinking it's got to be user error, right? Because how could they overlook? You could get yourself locked in some, weird quest that you can't complete until you like take a day to go and level up all your characters. You can't do co-op to, and the jump from 2 to 3 was pretty significant. Like I didn't feel anything from 1 to 2. It felt like, okay, it's a little bit, but like 2 to 3, was
definitely
was a
felt
big jump.
significant.
Yeah. So, and I know, this buddy of ours, this I don't know, I guess friend, she
Yeah, maybe.
no, she said like, she's rushing to keep up with us because she wants to play with us on our world level, and we're all no life in the game because we don't have any prior commitments, so we're just going like playing. And, I think that because of that, she might be even worse off than we were when the world level changed. And I'm like, I feel really bad because she wants to just play with us. But,
And it's not too unreasonable of a scenario for a person to find themselves in. They're like, oh, I want to level up. I want to get to the next world rank because I can't ascend my characters anymore. I want to unlock that. And then you're not prepared for it. And it's so easy to be in a quest, and then just the enemies are too tough,
Yeah.
And the fact that they disable co-op makes sense too. It just, in this case, and in plenty of others I'm sure that have happened, it's just kind of a perfect storm. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the way it's going. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, the world rank, great. I like the system, but really they should have a are you ready to advance world rank? Yes.
Yeah, that's the one thing about that I totally agree with. The fact that it just suddenly happens after you open a common chest and they're like, oh, the whole game's harder now. Good luck.
Yeah.
Definitely
Exactly.
needs to be an opt-in. And I'm surprised you can't lower the world level.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I mean that is kind of strange too.
I guess there's enemies blocking chests, and it would be weird if you started opening chests at a lower world level and saying, yeah, I do want crappier stuff. But I mean,
yeah, or like changing the world level to go kill some hard boss, or,
Yeah.
or something. I don't know. There's probably things that they were planning for that they were like, maybe we shouldn't allow everyone to do that.
You know what they could have done is each world level has all of the chests in it. And then you get to a new world level and you can like enter it like it's an instance. So like the way it happens normally is all the enemies just suddenly jump in power, and like the loot that spawns is just going to be better. There's no transition. It just happens.
Yeah, right.
But this could be like you go through a loading screen, boom, all the enemies in the game reset at the proper levels. All the chests that you haven't opened on that world level are there and contain, the correct amount of loot and rarity and stuff. And then you can change it at will.
That'd be nice. I'd be content if they just for sure made it a, some quest or something you have to do to like make sure you're ready for it.
Bare minimum. Yep.
Bare minimum. That should be a thing. But I like the world level system for sure. I'm into it. It makes me feel like I'm progressing too. It's like, hell yeah, I'm world level 4. Almost. I'm almost world level 4.
Yeah, I am into it. I think that you're right on the money. If they did even more with it, that would be a nice bonus.
Yeah. I hope they do.
Maybe we'll do a send-off. What do we like about the game? A couple little tidbits. What do we want?
Yeah.
Because, it's like a current state. Everything we're talking about is so early, so subject to change. It's just, I mean, we laid the foundation, but it'll almost be interesting looking back if we decide to talk about Genshin and we're playing it in the future and it's different, a year from now or something.
Yeah.
And we go back and we listen and we're like, oh, you could only have 4 party members or characters in your party. Wow,
Yeah.
Times have changed. You can have 10 now.
No, yeah, that's a good idea.
I mean, I hit all the major points I wanted. My wish list is laid mostly bare. I hope they add more map pins. That's one thing I want.
Yeah, I want a
more,
chest
more
one.
and more variety. Yeah, a chest one would be nice because there's just like 5 or 6 different types, and I don't even use the food one all that much. Farming for food, haven't had to do that really, but. And then you can only have so many. You can't even have enough to mark all of the Earth Oculus that are on the map, which would have been a really smart idea to do at the start, and I wish I had.
I'm full. Got 99 pins right now.
Yeah, even though you've got them all, now begins the tedious journey of finding the rest and not being able to mark them to reference for later.
Right.
And with that, you can't mark anything else on the map that's important. So I think 99 or whatever it is way too low.
It is. Especially once they add more continents, more nations, more areas.
Yeah, they have to add more. I mean, 99 pins per zone almost seems like not enough still.
Right.
But they should do that. I think my biggest wish list item beyond that, though, is like binoculars.
Yeah,
how
dude, I was thinking
the way Breath of the Wild does it, right?
Yep. You can mark things from far away and be like, okay, I got to come here. That looks cool. I want to check it out, but I'm on my way to this area. Like, that's for sure something that that'd be nice. It's hard to kind of have a sense of scale when you're looking over like if you're on a mountain and you're taking a peek, you're like, where is this on the map,
Yeah, because there's no first person, right? And there's no way to just look through the eyes of your character and say, this is what I'm seeing. You're always occluded by the UI and your character in the center of the frame. So a binocular is even like a zoom, something to look with, and then additionally being able to place visible, maybe not visible, but it would be cool to place at least map pins just by looking through that mode.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be so nice.
Yeah, it seems so minor, but it's something that definitely I was taken aback by when it wasn't there.
I definitely wished for it multiple times where I was like, I'm going here, but I want to mark this because it looks cool.
You got any little things that you wish?
Little things. Yeah, definitely a hotkey for switching party.
Oh, yep,
party setups.
That's a big one.
It would be really cool. Also, this is a huge wish list thing that I don't know if they would do, but set builds that you can swap between. Maybe it might be fun to eventually someday be like, okay, I'm gonna try cooching with all these things rather than straight attack and crit.
Yeah, I don't think cool. we're not at that point yet, but in the future I think that we'll reach that where we want.
Yeah, and so it would be cool to have like, you go into your artifacts and it's like you could name these sets and you'd be like, okay, equip this set of this custom set of artifacts that I have.
Yeah, that's a very good idea too.
More commissions.
More commissions, especially like just doing a few daily quests is okay. If they added more, that'd be okay, I guess too. But it would.
I mean, they're so fast. It's so fast.
Yeah, it's super fast. But the way I've seen MMOs add more daily content, like variety in the daily content, not just slaying missions or fetch quest missions, but like fun side little mini games and stuff to do.
They should do little gliding challenges.
Yeah, I love gliding, and there's some world chests and challenges for it here and there, but it would be cool to have something to do every day with it. Just keep up on your reflexes and whatnot.
Yeah, maybe like a cooking challenge. They had that in in Xiangling's little story mission thing. I mean, maybe they could flesh it out a little more, or like it'd be cool. Yeah, definitely more variety of dailies would be nice as well. I think that's about it. I mean, without, just for quality of life stuff, those are my main things. I think especially the party one is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, it's super annoying to have to switch because you need someone to break ore.
Mm-hmm.
You need someone that's an archer, almost specifically Amber. You need in your party a lot.
Yeah.
The main character, and then anything else you need.
So you need like an exploration party and a combat party, and then it'd just be nice to push a button and switch on over to whatever.
It's not like the worst thing in the world to switch them, but it's required so often, it's tedious. Busy work.
Busy work.
And this is all on PC. I can't imagine how much all of this is different if you're playing on mobile.
Yeah, we're both playing on PC. And yeah, I mean, the game, I think it was developed with mobile in mind and optimized for mobile, I assume.
It feels like that. People have complained about the 60 FPS cap on PC. That's not something that bothers me, but I know there are signs like that, you know?
Right.
That they didn't really fully think through the PC. Even though it's pretty stable, I haven't had much... There's just a few technical issues and things that makes it pretty apparent to me that it was not designed with PC first.
Yeah. There should be daily login things aside from the monthly thing. I wish photo mode... I kind of want photo mode to be fleshed out a little more, personally. I like photo mode in games a lot. But yeah, I mean, those are all like kind of minor quality of life things. I mean, obviously, I hope they change the resin system. That's probably my biggest thing.
Yeah, that's for major gameplay changes. That sits near the top.
I would like to have friends list, like DM, chatting with friends in your own thing. Like, you know, it'd be cool to send mail or something to one another. I mean, it's a minor thing. It's not necessary, but it would be cool to... rather than just request to join someone out of the blue, to be like, hey man, chat them up.
Yeah, and
first.
It's only like 10 seconds. I'm pretty sure I've been yelled at more than once for missing it because I'm all tabbed or something.
Yeah. So that'd be nice too. But yeah, those are things that I hope they add coming up. In for quality of life things and content. I hope they add a Spiral Abyss for multiplayer. More things to do, I guess, in multiplayer. I want to see more story stuff. I'm kind of like into that. You know, I want more quests. I'm excited. I'm excited for more updates. I think it'll shape up to be really cool. I think it has the potential to be a really great game.
This game has a lot of potential.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder what our experience would have been like if we just didn't go so hard.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a hard lesson to learn, and now maybe when the next huge content patch comes in with, Inazuma or wherever, Shneznaya or whatever.
We'll try to control ourselves.
Yeah, we'll try to cut back a little bit and take it easy, but, I'm definitely... It's weird. I mean, been talking about all this lack of things to do, but I still find myself playing for, like, a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd love to know just how much I've missed in the game that I don't know about.
It has the potential to be a really, really good, like, long-standing game to just, pick up and play.
Like your main game.
Yeah, I was talking briefly about that off podcast, but, like, I always wanted that. It'd be cool to just have a game to come back to that, you don't get super bored of or you don't burn out from.
Like a lifestyle game.
Like a lifestyle game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be fun. I don't know.
I'm excited to come back. It would be cool. I'd like to do more of these little talks about, Genshin specifically as content and the game change.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I think it was kind of cool. It was a little loose.
We make it work. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Sorry, Kiowa. I mean, I think this is our best episode so far. I don't know. I might be speaking a little too early, but this might be the best one.
He's the fan favorite. We're going to have to bring him back or there will be riots.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Okay, so yeah, I suppose that'll wrap up our Genshin Impact little mini-sode, our little filler episode. For those of you who are waiting for the crosscode episode that we promised in the prior, the Bloodstained episode, that will be coming as soon as we can scratch it, basically. We want to make sure to get an episode out on the 15th of every month, a minimum. whether that be a mainline episode or these kind of little filler episodes. We'll try our best to get some content out monthly, and we want to try to start making multiple episodes a month, but regardless, we will always try to get an episode out on the 15th. So Crosscode should be coming hopefully before the end of the month, but if not, it'll come as soon as possible. And we got some more stuff sort of in the works that hopefully you can look forward to as well.
I'm excited for all the future stuff, the stuff we have planned.
MIDFES is going to be blowing up. It's going to be blowing up right now.
It's extremely popular in certain circles, I do hear.
Yeah, we we have our one listener. Well, maybe we have 2 or 3.
The whole midnight crowd.
Yeah, the whole midnight crowd. Thank you all for tuning in. We really, really appreciate it. And we're glad, if you thought this was even somewhat entertaining, or even if you just had it on during the background, it's cool. But yes, that should be all from me.
Yeah, from me too. Thank you guys for listening.
Thanks, everyone, and have a happy midnight.
Happy midnight, guys.